Here's a very underrated reason for you to do a podcast. I do think you should do a podcast, and here's why. About almost 3 years ago, we started doing a podcast for my tech transfer office. And the idea was that we would do 28 episodes and then kind of see what happened. It was just an experiment. And I'd heard Chris Williamson on Modern Wisdom or someone like that say that 95% of podcasts stop before you get to the 28th episode. So I thought, we'll at least make it that long and see if we have some traction. And it turned out to be pretty good. By the time we got to that point, we had 30,000 followers and we'd met some interesting people and gotten some good traction. And so we've kept it going and it's good. We thought it could be a main driver of marketing for us, and it's not quite that. LinkedIn's better for that, but it has been really good for connecting with people and doing some other things. But here's an unexpected benefit that you might not see coming if you're thinking of doing a podcast. And I'm going to show you a LinkedIn post I did about this the other day. I asked ChatGPT to troll through all the podcast episodes and track how my thinking changed over time. And so there were a few findings, and I have a post about it. But this chart will give us most of what we want to know, which is there's a traditional tech transfer process, just kind of what most people do, where you sit in the tech transfer office, you wait for a professor to come and give you a new technology, then you hire patent attorneys, and then maybe you license it out. And so that's what blue represents. And then there's some new, more innovative things. Like I've pushed much further into media, not just the podcast, but LinkedIn and other things, and then focused on startups more heavily. So this chart, there was a lot more to the AI analysis, but it combed through and showed that over time in my podcast, I've spoken less and less about the traditional process while speaking more and more about media and AI leverage. And that's accurate. That does reflect my thinking. But there were some nuances in its analysis that I hadn't thought of. So at first, for example, it's talking about the evolution of my thinking over time. And it said at first, my thinking was that I should demystify the machine. And so I'd forgotten this. But when I first became the director about 3 years ago, and when we were first starting the podcast, I thought, you know what tech transfer needs is just better explainers. We need to do a better job of telling people what it is and what it does, educating professors and everyone else that we interact with. And there's definitely a point to that. But then over time, like quickly, and the AI analysis tracks this, I realized that no, the system actually needs to change in different ways. And then I moved towards speed and some other things. So so anyway, I just thought it was interesting to be able to track my thinking over time. I've thought for a long time I need some system to track predictions, to test how well I'm anticipating trends and things like this. But if you're publicly stating your opinions on things and AI can analyze that, then that's really useful. I suppose you could just keep a really good journal or do a podcast that you don't publish that's just for your own benefits and use it this way. But I don't know, even there, you want some stakes and things that you say. This is one of the reasons I'm doing this second podcast where it's just my opinions about tech transfer, because I want to track my own thinking and kind of be able to analyze it and see where I go wrong over time and maybe learn something from it. So think in public, and that's one more benefit you'll get from it.